Hello again. Today we are going to take a look at Takenoko. The game's been around for a few years, but it's a very good family game. It is on the lighter side of the games, so if you are looking to get into the board gaming scene yourself, you're not into the heavier games yet. If you are looking to get a family member in, your parents, your girlfriend, your wife, your children, this is a very good game to kind of get people into kind of the basis of some board gaming stuff. If you are more into the heavy set games like Eldritch Horror, this game probably isn't for you. But if you want to try and start get your friends there, this will work. It's a game about 45 minutes long. You place some tiles, you grow some bamboo, you eat some bamboo, you complete little objectives, and then at the end the player that has the most points wins the game. The game is for 2 to 4 people. You can play it with 2. I find it more enjoyable with at least 3 and preferably 4 people. Just makes it more fun trying to compete for all the resources from the other players. Also that just came out was the expansion for Takenoko, Chibis. It adds a girl panda and some baby pandas. Adds a couple more tiles that add a little more complexity to the game. So for those of us that are more into the longer, heavier games, makes it a little more bearable when we're trying to show this off to some of our newer players that aren't so much into the heavy stuff. So I recommend this game for party nights, for family. My parents like it, my wife likes it, and children like it as well. So we're going to go ahead and play, and then at the end I'll show you what is included in the new expansion. This is the initial setup for Takenoko. You've got your irrigated water tile here in the middle. What you're going to do to start is each player gets one of these little cheat sheets with 2 little tokens that are going to tell you what your actions are. Each player gets a red, blue, and purple card. The green card is saved for the player that finishes the final quest, depending on how many players there are. What these cards do: the red card tells you you're trying to grow bamboo of a certain color, a certain height, and this specific one, the tile that has the 4 yellow can't have any improvements on it, which I'll talk about here in a second. You then have land tiles you're trying to get in a certain pattern of a certain color, and then you're trying to get the panda to eat a certain amount of a certain color as well. And as you do that, you score the points associated with it, and in a 2-player game, the first person to complete 9 quests then triggers the last round. You've got the little panda figurine and the gardener figurine. What you're going to do is you have 2 actions you can take on each turn. You can draw new tiles, grab an irrigation marker, because as you get away from this, you're going to need to irrigate your tiles. You can move the gardener, move the panda to eat, or you can draw new cards to get more points later on in the game. You can have a max hand of 5. Also on this, you also have the option of adding improvements to tiles. This one, the panda cannot eat anything from the tile that's on. The fertilization, whenever bamboo grows, it grows at twice the rate, so normally it's 1, that makes it 2. And then you can irrigate tiles without having to run water all the way out to them. So for our first round, this is the weather dice. We'll go over that here in a second. For the first round, there's no weather. So we're going to start here with this player. One of the best ways to start that is always is drawing new land and taking a irrigation. So we're going to take an irrigation. We're going to store it here because I don't have anything to do with it now. You're going to take 3 tiles, and mission here is yellow. So we're going to go ahead and start with the yellow. We're going to discard the other 2. And to start, we're going to put a yellow there, and anytime you place a tile, if it's irrigated, and right here next to our main tile it is, you go ahead and put 1 bamboo growth on there. And that is the first player's turn. Going on to the second player here, we're going to do the exact same thing. Grab an irrigation, and they're going for pink, so they're going to grab 3 here. And what you do on this is you can't run them out here. Anytime after this first tile, you have to have 2 edges touching. So we're going to go ahead and throw a pink onto there, and since it's irrigated, that'll grow 1 as well. Alright, now we're back to this player. Start of the second turn, at the start of your turn, you're always going to roll the weather dice. If you roll the sun, you get a third action. If you roll rain, you can make it rain on any tile and then make bamboo grow there. Wind, you can use both actions for the exact same thing. Normally you have to do two different actions, but the wind will allow you to do two of the same. Lightning, you can move the panda onto any square. Normally the panda and gardener move only in straight lines. The lightning changes that. The cloud allows you to draw and store one of these or place them on a tile of your choice. And the question mark, you can pick any one of those. So we'll roll. We got rain. So we got two options here. This player is trying to grow 4 yellow on an unimproved tile and is trying to get a panda to eat 2. So, perfect. We're going to go ahead and make it rain here. And we're going to grow 1. Now we got to do our actions. We're going to go ahead and draw another tile. And we will move the panda. So we'll do our tile first. Don't have anything to do with green, but what we can do is we'll go ahead and place a green tile there. Now if you look on that, you can see that it's already got printed on it this fertilization tile. So we're going to go ahead and it's going to grow double. So 2 go onto there. Now we move our panda. Panda's going to go here. He only eats 1 at a time, and it goes on the little panda storage there, so we're halfway to completing this card. On to this player. Wind, we can do 2 of the same action. We're going to see if we can aim to get these pinks going. So we're going to do 2 lands. So we got 1 pink here. We're going to go ahead and throw that there. We can do that because it's got 2 sides. Now it is not irrigated because it's not touching that tile. And we're going to draw our second one. And we didn't get a pink, but I'll show you this irrigation marker. So we'll go ahead and throw that there. So this means that only this tile is irrigated. We can't run water from it. We still have to run water from our main tile. So that is irrigated, so we put a marker on that. And he's going to go ahead and try to start to get this going because you can't complete, see there's little water things on there. You get this once all 3 of that pattern and that color are irrigated. So he'll throw that on there, and then we'll go back to this player. Sun, he gets 3 actions. So we will go ahead and do land, and they all 3 have to be different. And he's going to move the panda, and we'll go ahead and move the gardener. So I'll show you what those look like. So we're going to go ahead and move the panda here to grab a yellow. He now has 2 yellow. He turns those in. And this player has now completed that card for 4 points. So that's 1 of the 9 in a 2-player game. Alright, moving on. The gardener, we're going to do a land first. So we're trying to get that yellow. Alright, we've got the yellow. So we're going to place the yellow here. And that is not irrigated at this time because it's not connected there, and that doesn't count as irrigating tiles next to it. And we're going to move the gardener. So we're going to move him here. He grows on any irrigated tile, the tile he lands on, and any tile next to him. So he's going to grow here, and he's going to grow here. He will not grow here because it is not irrigated. And we're going to go ahead and try and start to irrigate over there because we have this pattern set up, but we need to irrigate that last tile. His turn. Cloud. We have, so he's trying to grow 4 yellow on a fertilized tile, so he's going to grab a fertilization thing. We can start it from here. We can't do this one. You can't add more than 1 improvement on 1 tile, so we're just going to throw that there to get that growing. We've got our 2 actions. We're going to go ahead and move our gardener, and we're going to grab an irrigation. So we'll start with the irrigation. Do that there. This is now irrigated, so that adds there. And we're going to go ahead and move the gardener, which will grow us 1 here. And because that is now fertilized, it is going to grow 2. So we throw our 2 on there. 4 is the highest you can go. He has now met that. And that is the turn. You then keep going back and forth until Let's see, the last thing you can do is here you can draw new cards. You just draw one. You don't get penalized for any you don't complete. And you go until the last person has completed the 9th card in a 2-player game. Alright, the expansion for Takenoko, Chibis. You've got your base game, everything's just added to it. Here's the changes. First, you get a cute little girl panda. Then you get 3 colors of little baby pandas. How you get baby pandas is you place one of the new tiles. They only add 6 to the game. One of those is a new irrigation. It's just like your starting one, but you can place this wherever and you can run irrigation from there. So if we were to place this, the first time a tile is placed with that symbol on it, you put Lady Panda there. Then anytime you roll the lightning or you use an action to move the panda, you can move either the panda or the lady panda, and she follows the same rules as the male panda. And because the male panda is lazy, it's only if you move the female panda to the male panda that you're able to get the babies. So if we had them both here and we rolled, or using our panda action, we move her here, so she now meets the male panda. You can spend any bamboo that you already have turn that in, and you get a random baby of that color. And so for that was green, and each of these are the same. You'll get a random, whichever one you draw. You can grab an improvement, you can get an irrigation, or you can switch out one of your goal cards. They're all the same for all the colors, and then at the end of the game, each one of these scores you 2 points. Additions to the game as well. Our other 6 tiles, we've got a gardener's cabin. If you land the gardener on there, you draw 1 of each mission card, pick 1, put the other 2 back. We have 1 tile that grows all 3 colors of bamboo. If the panda moves there, he only eats 1 of 1 color, but if you move the gardener there or rain there, all 3 will grow. And then there are also these, what do they call them? Sacred hills, 1 of each color. If this is on the board and it is irrigated, so we'll pretend we had that on there. If you roll the rain and you make it rain, every yellow that's irrigated, regardless of whether it's touching, will grow bamboo. So we've got our green and our pink. There are a few more mission cards for each of those, and that is all the additions. It is pretty simple. The instructions add a little bit of variance, different ways to play the game, but it doesn't make it that much more complicated, and I recommend it. It adds some fun to the game.